All right, ladies and gentlemen, good Tuesday morning. Welcome aboard our primary live trade brief, man. Obviously, a lot of stuff going on. Good, bad, otherwise. Remember, everything's fine. It's always fine, right? Everything is always okay. If you don't feel that way, you are not currently microdosing. Don't forget to get your Maverick Mind microdoses on and be centered in your trading and be good to go. Okay. A lot of stuff going on. Like I said, hey, game 6 tonight. The Florida Panthers had the ability to repeat. My boys and I were at game 7 last year in Sunrise when we won the cup. Tonight is game 6. Panthers win tonight. They win Lord Stanley's Cup. Uh, I mean, officially, Florida is the hockey capital of the world right now. The Stanley Cup has been in the state of Florida, played in the state of Florida for the past 5 years, 5 or 6 years. Low taxes, beautiful weather. Do you want to live in Edmonton or Calgary? No offense to my fellow 51st state folks, but man, watch tonight's game 6. If Panthers lose, it goes back to Edmonton for a game 7. Really, really, really good hockey. Okay. Man, a lot going on. It's pretty cool. So where they're doing the G7 summit, I actually gave a keynote there years ago, like 10 years ago. As some of you have been here that long, you remember I was like the mobile MC for JBS, right? The huge Brazilian meat company, JBS, when they started scooping up U.S. companies. I went to Banff or Kananaskis. I went to Texas. I went all over the country as the Brazilian executives and stuff wanted to mesh and meet their American companies they just bought. So that was really cool. But beautiful resort. If you haven't seen the Canadian Rockies, man, you are missing out, man. Beautiful. I mean, our Rockies are beautiful. Canadian, I think, has some bigger ones, but Banff, Canada is one of the most beautiful locations on the planet. Was it Lake Louise? That like really blue lake, spectacular. But man, we are flying around. So let me just give you my recap that I know of. Getting some stuff on my phone, talking to some guys. So it's pretty funny because at the G7, the president left early, right? I'm out. Well, maybe it was almost time perfectly for when Zelensky was getting there. But anyway, the president left. And then, like on Air Force One flying home, Macron's like, President Trump left to go broker a peace deal between Israel and Iran. Trump, like, grabbed his phone, like, that guy's an idiot. He has no idea why he left early. Don't listen to him. Iran can't have nukes. So there's a lot of stuff flying around right now. But Macron trying to get in front of the president and gaslight him, like, um, yeah, he's going home for a peace deal. Trump's like, what? That guy's an idiot. I left. He has no idea why I left, and I'll be in D.C. shortly. On the airplane, man, President Trump actually had a pretty brutal blue on blue kill. Do you remember when was it? Whenever she did, the DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, the DNI testified under oath. I thought this was weird, man. The Iranians stopped trying to get a nuke weapon back in 2003. I'm like, holy crap. Last night on the airplane, a smart reporter actually, questioned him, like, your DNI said they stopped trying to get a nuke like 20 years ago. I don't know what she said. I don't care what she said. Here's what we're doing. That was ugly. That was brutal. Anybody seen Tulsi Gabbard today, or has she cleaned up any of this? So, and I don't like saying this, either she lied under oath or she's an idiot. There's no, what's the middle? Uh, so I thought that was a pretty big, meeting. So people in the administration. This is going on too. So Israel this makes our Desert Storm shock and awe look timid, man. They are hitting them on the internet. They've shut everything down. The predatory Sparrow hacker group has shut down their banks. I mean, this is a completely inclusive operation. And it sounds like Iran is definitely publicly trying to do hey, if Israel stops, we can stop. If you believe in what Israel's putting out, they have taken out 40 to 50% of the ballistic missiles. Each time Iran says, the wave tonight will be like anything ever seen, Israel will be destroyed. I think they lobbed 10 missiles last night and they were all shot down. So obviously the first casualty in war is the truth. You believe what you want to believe, but seeing Israeli predators, and most likely ours, flying scot-free over Iran, they have 100% air superiority. Brought a tear to my eye, or it didn't bring a tear to my eye, but some of our members and my buddies who flew Tomcats, now it really is an end of an era. I saw the footage yesterday of a couple Tomcats being taken out. There is absolutely, there you go, Steve, 100% air dominance. Israel is flying around, taking stuff out as they choose. I think they said, I just saw a tweet from the Mossad thread that said, there's 10 nuke sites around Tehran. We're actively taking out all of them. They will just simply cease to exist. Now, the long, and this was going on, I forgot. We'll talk about this with oil and the market and stuff. But two tankers hit each other last night. Iran, clearly, is jamming GPS signals in the Gulf. So two tankers collided last night. One's rippingly on fire right now, burning. That ain't necessarily good, but I'm no captain of a ship, man. But if my GPS ain't working, I think I'd have just about every crew member on my boat on the deck with binoculars. Rule number 1 in aviation or driving a boat: don't hit anything. It doesn't get more basic. Kind of like some pilot error mishaps recently, man. Rule with the more technology humans become dependent on, the actual skills get rusty. Airline pilots: V1, rotate, positive rate, gear up, flaps up, 1,000 feet, autopilot. Wall Street Journal: descending through 1,000 feet, autopilot off. Okay, what gate are we going to? Rusty, baby. Same thing with boat drivers: GPS, auto turns, autopilot. And I mean, this really highlights that human skills are fading fast, and that you need to keep them. But two tankers colliding because their GPS ain't working just is the height of stupidity. But anyway, that happened too. The Nimitz battle group's on its way. I don't want war, folks. I don't want any of this. Don't want war in Ukraine. Don't want war in the Middle East. Don't want war in Taiwan or China. But if it has to happen because humans have failed and they suck, it has to be as horrifically violent so it's quick. Eastern Europe, folks, is a fucking meat grinder. Men being turned into hair, teeth, and eyeballs. Latest numbers are over 1 million on the Russian side, dead and maimed. Oh my God. An entire generation of men wiped out in these countries. So let me lead with this. I don't want any of it. However, now that we're in it, end it. It's funny seeing Tucker Carlson and Bannon, Candace Owens, some comedian, all over Trump for the Never War stuff. Hey, folks, do some critical thinking. This isn't, Secretary of State Powell and George Bush, the coke addict, not the naval aviator, saying Saddam has nukes and, I'm going to get him. Now watch this swing. Yeah, yellow cake uranium. I will tell you, folks, Saddam Hussein absolutely had weapons of mass destruction, not the ones they're lying about. They gassed their own people. 6,000 Kurds. Remember the guy, the general? His call sign was Chemical Ali. We killed that guy. They gassed their own people. Before, what was it, Operation Iraqi Freedom? 1918, Google it. Let's just round up and say 20. 20 tractor trailers left suspected chemical weapons facilities in Iraq. And where did they go? Syria. Syria right now says that they have them and we need help international cleanup with these things because they're really dangerous. So technically, did Iraq have weapons of mass destruction? Yes, they didn't have the weapons of mass destruction we were being lied about. So it ain't that. And this is not going to be some 20-year war that we listen to failed admirals and generals lie to us about, like everything's going swimmingly. We just need this weapon system and that one, and I'm retiring in a year and I'm going to go work at Raytheon. This will be quick. I'm rambling to get to a point. I have 0% problems with Trump dropping a couple GBU, whatever the hell they are, Moabs, and ending this. 0. We shouldn't get involved. If our involvement is literally turning Forda into a dead cave, I'm okay with it. Absolutely nothing past that. This is a once in a lifetime, folks. I was a kid when they attacked the embassy and took our hostages. I remember the counter on the bottom of the TV before the COVID death counter. It was the day hostages, U.S. hostages. They've been fomenting terrorism. We should do it just because of this, folks. Trump killed General Soleimani when he was president the first time. World's worst terrorist. Wasn't supposed to be traveling. He killed over 608, they counted, 606 Marines and soldiers. U.S. Iranians did in Iraq. It's a fact. So don't give me any of this, oh, we have no reason to. They have supported Hamas. They supported Hezbollah. Everybody in this room is old enough to also remember what? 1982. I remember 1982 because my sister was killed. 1982 is also what? The embassy bombing. Or was it 83? Whatever. I was in a tough place. Iran did that, folks. So for all the people searching for reasons to not get involved, I don't need to search for a reason to get involved that much. Israel softened everything up. We can finish the deal. Okay. So Nimitz on the way. B-2s are already there. I reported yesterday a third of our tanker fleet on the planet is going to the Middle East. KC-46, KC-135s. They're on their way, man. So this is Trump left last night, obviously, to make this decision, not to talk peace. He already said that. It's so funny because there are whatever the term would be. There are people in the administration leaking that, oh, Iran wants an off ramp and Trump's going to give him a deal. How many times is this guy 1 o'clock in the morning? Could you see Joe Biden on Air Force One at 1 o'clock in the morning? Let's not even talk about that. Flying home, he's like, they should have taken the deal. I gave him 60 days. What happened on day 61? I'm done talking. They should have taken the deal. So, Fordow for Trump and Israel. I mean, I rarely have been agreeing with the Wall Street Journal lately, but folks, when you get literally a once in a lifetime chance to put Iran out of business for the rest of our generation, my generation, and maybe our kids, you take it. Now I get all the anti-war people in Congress, and we're going to pass a resolution. Folks, they already attacked our troops in Iraq. They've sent drones. They were all shot down. They've already shot at U.S. forces, technically. Okay, so there's your excuse. But again, I don't need excuses. From the embassy bombing to the Marines and soldiers killed in Iraq by Iranian forces. Come on, folks. Again, I'm anti-war. But if you were going to do it, freaking go massively huge and stop. not death by 1,000 cuts, not the unshaven dude who can't afford a suit begging for more money at the G7. I mean, stop. So one, and Elon, what was it, like 6 months ago, put a tweet out like the F-35 is stupid. It's going to be all drones for the rest of humanity. And why are we wasting money on F-35s? How about this? So 100% air superiority. How'd the drones do against, Israel so far? Now, I will say this. The drones inside of your country right now, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Chinese, you name the country that hates us, North Koreans are in this country right now setting up these things. I guarantee you, if they're not, they're idiots. If I was the enemy, this would have been already done, or it potentially is. If I were the enemy, I'd be buying up properties around military bases. Oh, that's right, Wiz. You showed us a map whenever that showed all the red around military bases in our country. That is owned by China. Yeah, what are we doing about it? Nothing. So drones inside the country will work, but the F-35s and still the F-15 Eagles, we got some people that remember here that are Eagle drivers. We got Viper drivers. They are just zipping around the skies of Iran and inflicting serious damage. This shows you the power of air superiority. Russia, I have bombers and Badgers and backfires and Su-35s and MiG-20. They all suck, right? The right air power is being demonstrated right here. So it's shock. Well, it's not shocking to me because I've never underestimated an enemy, right? Yeah, you always have to believe your enemy is more capable than they are, so you're not surprised. But holy shit. And I am old enough to remember just getting commissioned in Operation Desert Storm. And us and all the warnings, all the people in this country, like it's the world's fourth largest army and air force, and we're going to get our ass kicked. It was over in 100 hours. Same thing here, folks. So defense, and manned fighters not necessarily going away anytime soon, but the drones are going to be inside the wire, folks. I told you before, China, container ships, man. You just park a couple not even Chinese container ships. You're not going to do that because they expect that. Mozambique. On this is a bunch of sheep from Mozambique, and it's full of 100 containers that are full of drone swarms to launch and sink every carrier and boat at Norfolk Naval Base. That will happen. I guarantee you it's going to happen. So this is pretty incredible. And then I saw the Israeli, was it the president or ambassador? Somebody just recently said, wait until you see what happens Thursday night, Friday. It will make the Hamas or Hezbollah drone operation look dumb. Wow. So Israel, Iran's been planning, apparently not too well, but Israel's been planning for this week for decades. All reports and I'm going to believe them, there's Mossad agents running around Tehran killing scientists, killing generals. There are boots on the ground, Israeli forces that are doing the good work. I'm pretty damn sure that Netanyahu, Israel contingency planned that Trump doesn't give us the bunker bombs. If they didn't, they're stupid and they suck. They're not stupid and they don't suck, Wiz. So I guarantee you there's a backup plan. Okay. I don't know if it's Mossad dudes. Hey, stop bombing. We're going in. This is Mission Impossible. This is Tom Cruise. I'm opening the blast doors, putting a small nuke of our own down the shaft and running away as the clock hits 0. Right? That's exactly right, Paul. Iran had sleeper cells too of Israelis. Folks, I'm not going to drop anchor here. Joe Biden should be impeached. He should be indicted for crimes against the United States. He flew. He didn't just open the border. Hey, let's help this process. We're going to send airliners to these countries and fly them and put them in Pittsburgh. Barack Hussein Obama putting 80,000 Somalis in Minnesota. I can't stand stupid people when they go, how did Ilhan Omar get elected? Who would vote for her? Somalians. You go to her district, it's a satellite district. What's that mean? They ain't American, folks. They beam back to their home country and watch those TVs. This is bad. Okay. If Pete Hegseth and our military does not wake up after watching what's going on in Ukraine, after watching what's going on in Israel or Iran, we deserve everything bad that's going to happen to us. So I briefed you on this last week. Economic ramifications, 130 barrel, CPI is going to spike, interest rates, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to close this one right now because it's not going to happen anymore. This is not Barack Hussein Obama. This is not Joe Biden. Global production is well placed to cope with any disruption. The big news in oil markets since the attack is the price spike that wasn't. It popped a little bit, of course, and then it faded. The non-panic owes to ample global supply, and it's less for Congress and the Trump administration to do what? Hit Russia. Okay. One more reminder, Russia's in a lot of trouble right now. And China. They get a lot of illegal. It's not illegal to them because they think it's bullshit. They get a lot of oil from Iran. What does Russia also get from Iran? Drones. Vladimir Putin is in an incredibly tough spot right now. Now I got oil issues, and now my number one drone supplier of the Shahed drone, I saw videos this morning of one flying right into an apartment building in Kyiv. Heartbreaking. That just stopped. Israel already took out all those drone manufacturing complexes, man. No wonder Vlad's talking to Trump like, how about I be the peace broker? I guarantee you Vlad has talked to the Grand Supreme Burrito and told him like, hey, man, I think they're going to come after you. Now, again, back to Trump real quick. Do you make a deal because you're that guy and you love making deals and you pat yourself on the back? Because at this point, Iran will take any deal to stop getting devastated, sign it, and be Adolf Hitler and Neville Chamberlain. I have a signed document from Adolf Hitler. There will be peace in our time. I guarantee you the mullahs right now will say, okay, we're done. We won't do anything. And they're going to keep doing it. So this has to end. Anyway, folks, the U.S. This is a good line. The lesson for President Trump is that oil prices shouldn't influence strategic decisions about whether to help Israel or not. So I got this wrong, man. Trump is a drill, baby, drill. What do you mean? Iran produces 2.5–3% of the world's oil. I can find that in my couch. So for years, this was a long time ago, pre-Trump and everything like that. I'm like, my God, could you imagine Strait of Hormuz closed and Israel attacking Iran? Oil's going to double, $200. Wrong. And I like being wrong in that case, right? So this is really interesting. This is the oil price spike that wasn't. Now, one more time, this is not over. They've knocked out 40 to 50% of their surface-to-surface missiles. They have air superiority. The mullah ain't sleeping in the same bed every night. They might kill him. All the families of the rich and powerful have fled to Russia already. You can see it on the FlightAware. They get airborne, the transponder turns off. I wonder where they're going. Apparently, Trump did negotiate that and talk to Vlad like, Israel's agreed to a corridor, like from Tehran to wherever, Moscow, if people if the leaders are fleeing. Because that's a victory, right? Maybe they can bunk with Assad. So Russia's the island of misfit toys. That's where all the deposed world leaders go. But it's been communicated to the mullah or to the Iranians that we're coming after you. Now, and this is public. I didn't get this on any of my back channels, but apparently it sounds like the supreme leader somewhere and wherever in a bunker, and they're not telling him the truth. Apparently, the underlings who see the damage and this is Adolf Hitler right now, folks. The mullah is Adolf Hitler in a bunker, not being told the truth. hearing explosions down the street going, oh, that's our forces firing back against the great Satan. As Netanyahu said over the past couple of days, hey, man, we didn't start this because of regime change. We started it to avoid getting wiped out by a nuke. If regime change happens, it happens. It might be the byproduct. But apparently it does sound like they had the opportunity to take him out, and Trump said, man, let me try, one more time. I don't know how this guy saves face. I mean, let's say he lives and there's a ceasefire. This guy gets on TV like, we've defeated the Israeli aggression and we'll keep building a nuke. Is that when all his lieutenants go, oh my God, man, here we go again? Or do some of the lieutenants do what Israel is probably going to do? Or, hey, man, here's your 747. Go crash with Assad in Syria. I don't know, man. But at this point, I've seen the alerts stop really coming about our next wave will be the biggest wave we've ever launched in history against the great Satan. One bottle rocket. I'm telling you, man, this is it's when books are written about this. I can't wait. I mean, this is, again, one more time. I don't like talking like that. I can't wait. I don't want this. I don't like Iranians dying. I don't like Israelis dying. This sucks. End it, Mr. President. End it. Put a bow on top. I think, drop the Moabs, send the B-2s home, and go, all right, now you're coming to the table, type of thing. You ain't building another nuke ever again. I'm putting a Trump Tower on the water. We're going to turn you into Dubai. Okay? That would be, that's what Trump's thinking, right? Tried it with North Korea. It's like, man, what a beautiful country, man. You got ski resorts, you got beaches. Why don't we turn it up? You came to Singapore, man. Look at Singapore. Why don't you? And then we didn't get that. But that's always in the back of Trump's mind. What? He's a property developer, folks. He's been like that for 3/4 of his life. He's thinking trade deals and economy. But it's pretty cool to have that guy as president and then always have break glass in case of emergency. Like, okay, you don't want a deal? Now I'm going to kill you. In New York, I used to have to do the mafia with that. Lost in all the noise last night was this. We have a trade deal with the UK. I'm like, I thought we had one. Again, I'm completely confused about everything trade. So we're going to, as we start getting operational and moving into tactical, we're going to talk about the Tredge, the S&P 500 Tredge that we have on, or you might have closed, or anything. We'll talk about in a second. I'm almost done with Iran, Israel. It getting worse is going to be it getting worse for Iran, not for the world. So I'm over this. I mean, if the burrito gets taken out, I think the market rallies even more. But this ain't going to be weeks, folks. It's already half over. So let's move on. What's the next thing? July 9th or 8th, whatever date. Let's just reiterate that the president on day 61 posted, a True Social, whatever it's called, that said, hey, they should have taken the deal. I gave them 60 days. Today's day 61. What did you not hear me? Now, look at the market. What are we at? 6,000. We are 100 points, 150 points away from record highs. The president, now that, I mean, the world's at war right now. Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and coming to Taiwan soon. Market doesn't care. The market only cares when it cares, Wiz, and it ain't caring right now. The market right now has priced in goodness. Trump, knowing this, might get super tight. I mean, what are the biggest ones we care about? No offense to the 141 countries, including Penguin Island, that he tariffed. UK, EU. Isn't that weird? So wait, is it the EU or the UK? Are you guys separate? Oh, that's right, Brexit. So we have UK, EU, and China. One more time. I'm saying this for me, not necessarily you. I'm confused. I got a trade deal with China. Treasury Secretary. Well, we have a lot to work out, and there's things are well, but though ultimately the president and Xi Jinping will have to agree. The guy just tweeted that there was a deal. Well, I'm confused. I have no idea what's going on with trade. What I am clear on is there's a day. There's a date. Okay. So I listened to the guy, folks, right? 2 times in the past 2.5 months, the guy said, buy stocks here. I'd buy stocks. 1 potato, 2 potato, rip. Yeah, 60 days. I remember this, folks. Do you remember I talked about this. When he gave the 60-day point, I'm like, all right, let's write that down on, that's coming. I almost put that in the background a little bit, and then holy shit. We're evacuating troops or non-essential personnel from embassies. We're flying families home from Bahrain. It's coming within 24, 48 hours. I nailed it. It came 12 hours later when I was at game 4 of the Panthers. So as we start to get tactical right now, the reason I put on the Tredge last Thursday was multiple reasons. War, hot war, and trade war. So we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get tactical right now. But there's still some steel tariffs, and I don't like this. I don't know if it's part of the negotiation process. I wouldn't do this. I'd be like, I'm not saying a word until I got ink. I mean, he pulled out a folder last night and the pages blew around. It looked really stupid when the president did that. I would not have handed him a folder with random pages in there. And the UK guy had to scatter and pick up all the pages. Looked weird. So I wouldn't say a word until you have a deal. But Trump is Trump. And as soon as he hears like, well, they might agree to it. I got it. Where's my phone? We got a deal. Well, I didn't say that, Mr. President. We still have a lot of work to do. Doesn't matter. I'm on to the next thing. So and I didn't forget about this. I didn't brief it yesterday in Solo Amazon. We have a Fed meeting. The Fed's meeting right now. And we got our press conference tomorrow. I mean, did you see retail sales this morning? Softer, but that's okay. They spiked before the Liberation Day stuff, and then now's the drop, right? So I really don't care about those numbers. Excuse me. What was the housing? Housing went down a little bit. National Association of Home Builders Housing Market Index, NAHB. Ooh. Holy crap, man. Well, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? We're almost at record low. Well, I guess COVID. Here's your COVID scandemic, plandemic, whatever you want to call it. I mean, housing is definitely a crisis, but also thank you, Jerome, because of interest rates. So, nobody, it's so stupid. Some poly market or whatever that thing is like 92% probability of a rate cut. I'm like, are you insane? So at least if they cut tomorrow, I will be shocked. The Fed isn't in the business of shock. So I don't think that happens at all. Look at this. They're waiting. What is Jerome waiting for? This sub headline tells you everything you need to know. The central bank is in a holding pattern, again with the aviation analogies, as it waits to see what worsens first, inflation or the labor market. What did I tell you? The last one I was in DC, it was that one. Whenever I did my next brief, what did I tell you? I'm like, based on that press conference, but let me summarize it into a sentence. Jerome's going to wait until something breaks to act. That hasn't been him before. A month or two before the election, he cut not 25, 50 basis points when allegedly the economy was great, jobs were strong, and inflation was going up. The guy cut 50. I remember at the time, I'm like, well, of course he did. It's to run the election to help Kamala win. Why am I shocked that he did that? According to everybody back then, including Jerome, nothing was broken. And the guy cut 50. So, ladies and gentlemen, this says it all. I don't even know what poly market is. Like, you can bet on if the sun's going to rise tomorrow. Yeah, Rick, I mean, you look at the Fed funds futures rate where real people are smart. No way. So the central bank is waiting for something to break. I think the latest when I was on my call this morning, was it 1? No, 2. The market is it's June, folks. We're halfway through the year, more than halfway through the year. It's past the middle of June. So 2, if we get 2 the rest of the year, folks, we're more than halfway through. If we get 2, what does that tell me? Rip, do you have your Amazon burner trade on? I do. Do you have your America trade on? I do. I told you a mid-year turnaround. When did I call that? When everybody would, not you guys, because you're here, everybody was panicking and selling and ejecting. I said, nope, sell the wife and kids, buy it. We will see a mid-year rip your face off rally. Well, it happened about a month early, but Jerome Powell tomorrow in the press conference says something like that, like, well, the dot plot, the committee is comfortable with, maybe later, if everything stays, blah, 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 we are considering maybe, boom, rip. So we are closer to a rate cut. It's almost like, being June 17th right now. We're closer to December 31st, my birthday, than we are January 1st. With rate cuts, we are closer to rate cuts happening than them not happening. Does that make sense? And where does the market look? Right there, man. It looks into the ads on the right side of stock charts. It looks into the future. So the market right now is already pricing in rate cuts. Okay? That is bullish. Okay? Investor mood is back at pre-Liberation Day levels, according to Bank of America. I already told you about this, right? The bullishness, the retail investor index or whatever it's called is at, 2-3-year highs or something like that. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, the smart money missed it. They got it wrong. They told you to bail, and then they're like, no, we're going to retest these lows. Like Jeffrey Gundlach in COVID. We're going to retest these lows. Wrong, wrong, wrong. We are right. Finally, I think that I don't want to beat this dead horse. This is disgusting. The Trump phone or whatever it is, Trump mobile. Well, it's his children. I didn't like when Hunter Biden was doing this shit. I certainly don't like when Donald Trump's kids are doing this shit. Recent interview with Fredo Trump said what? Oh, yeah, my dad, $57 million in the crypto stuff, but it's walled off from him. He can't. Come on, man. There ain't no gray in this. It's black or white. And I think this is gross. It's not even funny. Well, it's not funny. They're serious. Trump Mobile. Phones are built in the U.S. What did the president do months ago? Oh, I kicked Apple and whatever else in the teeth. Enough about that. Amazon sets dates for double length Prime Day. I just saw this morning, we were talking about on our call, there was a great segment on CNBC about some new chip that's going to make NVIDIA look like it's in reverse. AWS launched whatever. I'm like, holy crap. How about this, though? A 4-day-long Prime Day shopping sales event. Wow. When is it? July 8th through the 11th, right around tariff trade war deadline time. Okay. This is I can't stand LeBron James. There was also a price upgrade. I think it was from Bank of America from 240 to 250, whatever. Amazon, man, we're definitely back. We're in the primary brief. I want to talk about the Tredge, but Iron Condor looking solid to fire the bull put spread today if you only did the bear call spread yesterday. I'll leave it at that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to be in solo Amazon. But the market does look toppy, folks. I mean, it just absolutely, we're running out of airspeed, and I would fully expect a little bit of a pullback up here to the, and then all these ads caused my browser to freeze. Okay. 1 second, man. I should just spend whatever it is each month to, okay. Jesus. I mean, really, does the guy that owns stock charts make that much money from polluting his website with ads? Anyway, look at this. You have to sit up straight and look at that. This MACD is, you can't tell them apart, man. That rarely happens. Look over to the left side. It rarely happens, man. There's usually a convergence. Moving average, convergence, divergence. Anytime in my over 30 years of doing this, I see this for too long, something happens. It breaks either up or down. Okay. So now I'm prepping the battlefield to get to Tredge management. Okay. So this is extremely rare to see a level MACD zero separation. That tells you the bot, we're a little overbought right now, in my opinion. We're hovering above this 20-day moving average. Now, again, I do a strategic and operational brief for a reason, because if you're just looking at the chart, you're like, oh yeah, it's definitely going to pull back. You don't know that, neither do I. Breaking news, Donald Trump. I just talked to the Supreme Burrito, peace on earth. He's stepping aside. Israel won. The Middle East will be a great mecca, pun intended, and the market rips. Then the MACD is going to converge to the upside. That's a distinct possibility, folks. I'm not going to relitigate the strategic part of the brief. Peace could come pretty damn quickly in the Middle East. The market could potentially rip. Tomorrow, Jerome Powell. I think we're comfortable with potentially 2 rate cuts the rest of the year. Market's going to rip. Powell tomorrow. We're going to wait to see if something really breaks. We're not doing anything anytime soon. I don't know who told you rate cuts the rest of the year, but they're high. Market ain't going to like that. So we could step through potential scenarios. Let's get to what I wanted to talk about, which is the Tredge. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a trade. What did we do last week, man? Shit's been flying. I forget what we did. Let me just make sure I don't have anything to cover from the last brief. No, the last brief was what? It was that super wide Iron Condor that hopefully you printed money on. We had a really good week last week with our SPX trade. It was, yeah, there we go. We did that. Why did any questions on that? Everybody have fun in that Iron Condor? That made a max profit. I think, I think I got out based on the model portfolio trade. It was like $2,500 or something like that. Any questions on last week's SPX primary live trade brief trade? That was good. We put that on, remember, for what? CPI. Last Wednesday, we got the CPI print. Tuesday in the brief, I said, you know what? I think we went literally at the money straddle, man. And it moved around and stayed right in between it. So take advantage. That's what Iron Condors do, folks. It's 2 credit spreads facing each other. You got this the roof and the basement. When volatility is elevated, let's use this word, uncertainty. We don't know what the CPI is going to be tomorrow. Okay, well, everybody's a little freaked. There's some premium at the money straddle. Hell, we might do one of these right now. I'll talk Tredge first, but let's go look at the money straddle for Jerome tomorrow. I just told you 2 things could happen. I think we love 2 rate cuts the rest of the year. Oh my God, that's fantastic. Rip. Oh, no, we're good. Something's going to break. And maybe even then I'm not going to do anything. Holy crap. So I guarantee you, when we look at the at-the-money straddle for tomorrow, there's some premium in it. Maybe we'll copy paste. But let's go to Tredge, because a lot of people had questions about it, last week. Now I'm going to ask because I want to see answers. Not you, because I don't know what you do. That's between you and your God. When I do a bearish double vertical, a Tredge, or a bullish double vertical for that matter, what is one of the first things I say on when to close it? Go. When Wiz does the double vertical, what's one of the first things he says to do to close it? I better get some answers or I'm going to start choking people. Oh, there's a bunch of questions up. Sorry, I don't get an alert like in GoToWebinar about chats. Like Jan, Wiz, your thoughts on SPX for now? I'm going to talk about SPX now through the end of June. Also, we have good gains on Amazon, so would it be a good idea to sell covered? Jan, you got to watch the solo Amazon brief from yesterday. Absolutely, we're not only selling cover. We're not. First of all, they aren't covered calls, so that the terminology is wrong. If you have synthetic stock or a burner trade that I did, it's not covered. Technically, it's not covered. You don't own the shares. Covered means what? I own the shares. It is somewhat covered, meaning you have an underlying bullish position. So if it does start ripping, those naked calls, technically they are naked calls, aren't going to get super destroyed. So don't make sure you're clear in your terminology, unless you do have 100 shares of Amazon, or then it would be a covered call. But yeah, folks, if you're not in solo Amazon, you got to join it. I talked about short calls yesterday. Okay. All right. Geez, 22 answers. So I think everybody, I'm not going to scroll up and look at all 25 answers. I'll give you the answer. When I do a double vertical, that is a Tredge. The answer is what most of you wrote. If or when I get a violent move in the direction of the double vertical, I look to close it. I say that, you can put that on my tombstone. I'm not going to have a tombstone. I'm going to be cremated, put into gunpowder, fireworks on the beach to some cool music. I'm going out with a bang. So, does everybody understand that? I placed a Tredge last Thursday for cold. That was the name of the brief, wasn't it? Trading hot and cold wars. Hot meaning, what if Israel attacks Iran in the next, sooner rather than later? And we also have a date, July 8th, of trade wars. That was what the brief was about. That was my commit criteria. What's the second thing? You don't have to type it because I'm going to tell you. What's the second thing I tell you when to close a trade, when I will close a trade? If one of the sentences in my commit criteria change. I just gave you two sentences. Trade war and hot war. What if Israel attacks Iran? That happened. What was it? 8 hours after the brief, I'm sitting at Amarant in the Panthers game. Phone blows up. Well, nailed that one to the day. So the next morning, when the futures were down, the futures were down 600 points at one point. So the next morning, when the market opened, it gapped down. Not a lot, but it was still, it met I think it was a full point. That's a violent move, folks. Now I'm gonna Supreme Court Justice Potter, famous decision on pornography. I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. So if you're going to ask me what a violent move is, I don't know. I don't know what your definition of violence is. But when I look at the futures down 600 points and I have a bearish trade on and the market opens and gaps down, I close it. Why? Well, one of my sentences changed. They did attack. That's one of the reasons I had the Tredge on. And it was a violent move. What can and I answered this as we started, doing this Thursday, Friday to the Max Afterburn, the hunters. What can you then do? Well, Wiz, I'm still a little worried that whatever might happen, put it back on. Nobody has gone broke taking a profit. So it ended up being like 60%, $1,200 that morning. Then if you're in the hunters or the max afterburner, what did I also do that day? A bull put spread as the market turned around. That made, I think I got out for whatever it is. It would have made a max profit, but I usually take my snipers and move, especially because of this type of market. You could be looking at a 7, 8, 9, a 70, 80, 90% profit on a sniper, and then go for a walk and come back and you're looking at 100% loss. So my snipes, I've been definitely, maybe even 5, 6, 7ing it. I don't think I've let one fly to max profit in a long time, because I mean, look at the chart on this screen right now. Boom, boom, boom. Right? So I think this was the day, wasn't it? Yeah, there you go. I have it on the screen. Opened, closed it right there. I put a bull put spread on right there, and then it ended up going back down. And I was live tweeting, I guess I'll call it, during the day. So if you didn't exit that Tredge when I did, who cares? Good on you or bad on you, I don't care. You could have exited it later in the day for that. Okay. Now here's we are Monday. It's not that bad, but we're kind of giving some of this back. So a couple things, and this is all a good Tredge discussion. I said this yesterday. I'm going to repeat it in case you're not in solo Amazon. You have got to write down, grab un stilo and a piece of paper or an Excel sheet. I shared an options trading journal with somebody in the Ready Room yesterday. They're like, anybody have a good options thing? I have an Excel sheet options journal that makes Elon Musk look stupid. I mean, this thing is like, if you're a booger eater and want that, I can send it to you. I write stuff down, man. But anyway, I'm talking about that because it's got a place for, commit criteria. You have to come up with your commit criteria, folks. If you like mine, great. Still, I'm begging you to do this. Even if you like why I'm getting into a trade, put it in your own words. And I'm not being a jerk when that guy died. I'm not being a jerk when people hit me up and they're like, hey, what would I do? What should I do with this trade? I'm like, I have no idea what you should do with this trade. Why did you get into it? And if the answer is I got into it because you did, now you're really going to owe me some push-ups. If anything, at a minimum, you should be able to regurgitate my commit criteria. So it annoys me a little bit, folks, because I'm clearly not doing a good job as your instructor when people are like, hey, what should I do with this trade? And I say, I don't know. Why'd you get into it? And I get well, you did. Ladies and gentlemen, you have got to come up with your commit criteria. I'm sharing mine. One more time, if you like mine, write it down or use it. Okay? I'm teaching you how to, and again, I remind you, you shouldn't stay here forever. As a businessman, I want you here forever. As Wiz, you need to be able to go, man, I got this. It's funny that people do that and then they still come back years later because they're like, man, I love the intel and the camaraderie and the trade ideas. But what I'm getting at, folks, is I'm trying to teach you how to do this on your own. Somebody sent me a thing on, or sent it to support, and I sent an answer to support, and they hopefully sent it to you. Something about like, hey man, I'm missing the snipers by a couple minutes or something like that. Is anybody else doing this? So folks, when you see me do it live, if I shoot a sniper or a trade, it might not have even filled yet. I copy it, I paste it at everyone and press fire. That probably happens within a minute. So if you're a little behind it, and remember, this is 246, folks. I'm doing a 246 and then a shoot. There might be just a hair, but you shouldn't be sitting there with your mouth open. You should be going, you know what? All right, I got this alert a minute late and I just kind of missed it. Whatever, look at it. Oh, this is what he was seeing, and type of thing. Okay, I do my best to go. It will never be clearly instantaneous. There's going to be a little bit of a lag, man. So Does that make sense? Okay. Debbie, that's a great point. Thank you for covering that. Let's say you did 5 contracts in the Tredge. Close 3 of them and let the others ride as a Tredge. Right? And then finally, managing a Tredge, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go with the last thing. What do I tell you? If you get a violent move in the direction of your double vertical, either close it or do what? Close the debit spread. In this case, the bear put spread. Close that first. Why? I just said it. It's a debit spread. It doesn't like theta. You could keep on the bear call spread, in this case, the roof, because it likes theta. So you could have, potentially been looking at a, max potential profit on the bear call spread. It's out to July though, folks. Remember, right? Let's go back to everything's great. Peace in Israel, peace in Iran, I don't know, and all the trade deals are signed. We're going to rip. So that bear call spread in the Tredge would be in danger. Okay. Any questions on Tredge or Tredge management? If you put the Tredge on, and again, I don't know why you did it. I know why I did it. If you put the Tredge on because you want to sleep better at night, leave it. Set it and forget it. One of our members did that. He's like, dude, I love your USAA or State Farm analogy. I am covered through middle of July in case it's the cost of doing business. If you sit at your home office desk and write a check every month to the insurance company and you're pissed about it, you're weird. Put it on auto debit and forget about it. You're going to like it when you hit a tree and go, crap. Oh, wait, I have insurance. So you have to work on your mindsets around some of these trades, right? In that case, don't call it a Tredge. Call it what? It's a hedge at this point, folks, because the Tredge part of Tredge is what? It's a trade I think is going to make money. Now, with everything I just said, we can get peace on earth and rip with trade deals. Leaving that trade on would turn from Tredge to hedge. My initial one from last Thursday was a Tredge. I'm pretty sure the market's going to pull back on either an attack or this or that. And it did. It pulled back. So it was a trade that made money and it protected, at least for 2 hours, my longs that were underwater, right? Is this good, everybody? This is a awesome Tredge back and forth discussion. I need to do a better job, folks, because clearly that next morning when I sent out the alert, I'm like, I'm out. People are like, whoa, what if I didn't get out or what? I'm like, man, I apparently am sucking at instructing here. Step 1, why are you in it? I know why I was, and it got a violent move. Look, I mean, this is Thursday, right? Where we put this Tredge on, like over here, whenever this was. So we went from where we were to that. That hits my definition of violent move. And like I said, to the initial people who were, posting like, hey, I didn't get out. What should I do right now? By the time the market closed, you were even better than I did. There were people who closed it for close to 100% profit in a day. Okay. Any questions on this? This is good. Debbie, don't wish that, man. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be trading pre-buy options. So. Tony, I appreciate that, man, because that's the truth. Let me go back to this real quick. We're going to go a little longer because I have to cover a trade. But Tony brings up a good point. How many times, if I haven't said it recently, I'm going to say it right now, so sit up straight. If you don't want to smoke a lucky strike on a sniper, add $5. I'm pretty surgical with my snipers. I've been doing this for a long time. I got a market feel. But even me, man, how many times have you seen one of my snipes literally closes at that strike or right above it or below it? If you want to live a long and prosperous life, like Spock told you to, add $5. So, but Tony, that's exactly right. Sometimes I shoot mine and then it goes against me and you could have gotten a better price and then it ends up doing great. So, I answered the question, whoever wrote that to support, but it's trading, man. It is absolutely trading. Okay. It's exactly right. Christmas tree. I like that. The Christmas tree is a great analogy. The hell, I hate not being able to scroll up in the comments here. Okay. All right. So a couple things. Let's look at Jerome. Let's look at the Fed tomorrow. What's that? 50 over $50, 52, 53. Let's look at the at the money straddle for tomorrow. Do we go wide like we did last week, man? Copy paste. June 18, $52. So this is $104 wide. That's a pretty wide straddle for a day for tomorrow. 60, 60, and 59, 60. That's a big, well, it makes sense, right? I was about to say that's a big straddle. It is a big straddle for tomorrow, Wiz, because it's a Fed decision. They ain't cutting rates, but it's going to be what he says exactly. So step one, do nothing. Wiz, for these Fed days, I grab a bucket of popcorn and I watch, and it's fun. Other people, man, volatility is elevated. It's uncertain what he's going to say. I'm pretty sure there ain't going to be a rate cut. It's going to be that. I'm going to take a nice wide iron condor. The market's going to run around a little bit, but it ain't going to go super nuts. Now, as your flight instructor, I'm going to remind you, there's a distinct possibility he says something that the market either loves or doesn't like. That is unexpected. But Jerome, in these press conferences lately, really hasn't super shocked. They've kind of, the sine waves, some of them were, I remember being in these briefs like, holy crap. He's gotten, that was years ago, man. All right, anyway, stop talking, Wiz, and let's look at the trade. 59.60. Let's go down to 59.60. The bull put spread, the basement side of an iron condor. I'm just going to go quick. 85, I like that. Let's see if the other one is close to 85. 60-60. Call. Sell by. 60-60. And 60-65. Scroll. Okay, man. My scroll wheel's going. Thank you. 60, 60, 60, 65. That one's a little bit more expensive. Well, let's go 65, 70. There we go. 85 and 85. Wow. So, and I talked about this the other day with Amazon. So this is a buck, whatever, it's bouncing around. Look at this. The max potential loss is 305 for a single. So somebody wrote, I don't know if it was a customer yet, but somebody wrote support like, hey, he does. No. I cover two trades, folks. I cover a one contract trade. Why? Because there are people in here who, again, with 150 people in here, I don't know. I'd love to know you, but I don't know you, your personal risk, your portfolio size. That's what a registered investment advisor does, or broker dealer. They can talk to you. You'll end up buying them lunch, but hey, well, based on your risk or this, I would do two contracts. I don't do that. I will show a single contract trade that is essentially for everybody. And then I'll show what I'd put in the model portfolio based on a $100,000 portfolio where I'm only deploying about 25 to 50 grand. Always got a little cash ready to go. I'll show whatever it would be, 35 contracts. Okay, so I always start with hey man, this is the generic trade. But why did I say that? Because you're risking 305 to potentially make, let's just round up, $200. That's a beautiful risk to reward ratio. But here's what I was drawn to. Using at the money volatility, as soon as I said at the money volatility, this is valid, there's a 77% probability of making the max profit. 79% probability of making at least something, breaking even. This is a solid looking trade. I'm going to repeat myself. Step 0, don't do anything, Wiz. I don't like trading any of these Fed decisions. They creep me out. He could say something nuts. Trump could drop a Moab. That 24 hours, folks, 24 hours in this market is a lifetime. So one more time, I'm going to remind you, if you don't like these type of things, don't do them. And like I said, we're going to go a little long here because I want to cover some short calls and stuff like that. Wait a minute. SPX, desktop, SPX 617. All right, so I got a screenshot of that screen. It was just at $2. Throw $2 in there, man. If you did $2, you're risking 300 to make 200 with a single contract. Now, let me, as I'm taking screenshots and sending out the alert, 789. What do you mean, for the Iron Condor? Nope. 789 for the individual spreads. Don't treat an Iron Condor as an Iron Condor. I mean, I do. I'll leave it on the screen like that just for a general thing. But if SPX moves up or down the rest of the day, you can always take profits at 70, 80, 90% on the credit you took in for that spread, the bear call spread or the bull put spread. Okay? But again, it's up to you. And then double, let's talk about the ejection point. I didn't even place that trade yet. So you know what? Maybe I'll do this. I'll send it out first and then I'll place it. How about that? So let's go in the hunters. Double the credit you take in. I would eject out of one of those spreads. New SPX Fed meeting Iron Condor at everyone. So 260. There we go. 5 members get this alert. Okay. Desktop SPX. Make sure it's in the trade alerts thread. Sorry about that. There you go. All right. So didn't place this trade yet. I just fired it. So you're getting it first. How about that? Also in the lifetime, new SPX Fed meeting Iron Condor. Wide Iron Condor on Fed meeting that ends tomorrow with press conference. I have to type something in here because if I don't, it doesn't let me post blast it. So when I at everyone in the other thread, that's the writing, and I can shoot it out. But it makes sense as to why I'm doing this trade. Trade alerts. Well, I can always copy and paste and put that back in there. So I publish that. I'll edit this post and there. There we go. I'll put in an order at $2 right there. Okay. Now, does everybody have their America trade on? The America trade is looking pretty damn good, man. JP Morgan, solid moves out of I think I sold all these short calls yesterday. Let me just show you. Or no, did I not? Good. All right, in the model portfolio, let's short call it up here, folks. How's Raytheon looking? I haven't looked since last week. Oh, there's your war trade. I think it was 2 weeks ago we did an AR. I looked at Raytheon. I said, hey, man, get bullish on Raytheon or a bullish double vertical. If you're in this trade, God love you. From 130 to 148, you're welcome. How many of you did that one? Woo! Derek, what's my answer going to be? Somebody answer Derek for him. All right, so Amazon, this is my synthetic stock. Let's go look at, so Derek, the answer is what? The answer is exactly before you got into the trade. Now it's a different, the answer is different for different trades. If you got into the synthetic stock, I don't close synthetic stock, folks, until a month or two before expiration. What if they're losing money? knock on wood, I've never had a synthetic stock lose money. Why? I don't do synthetic stock trades on shit that's not going to be around in 2 years. The only one that got closed was Apple. And I closed the protective put for a profit and added it and got more Apple and went longer. And that trade ended up being, I think, a 6-figure trade. Amazon, my disaster put and synthetic stock was underwater. Did you eject? No, it's Amazon. So with synthetic stock, folks, I don't close it. I don't have a profit target technically because it's unlimited upside. I have a time target with synthetic stock. A month or two in, May of 27 for my synthetic stock, I'll look to exit it. Okay. Now, if you're in a double vertical or something like that I covered on Raytheon, you should have your profit targets already for the credit spread and the debit spread. Okay. So it's exactly right, Mike. Nobody ever gone broke taking a profit. All right. Amazon. Sorry, I'm going long. We're just Amazoning. Big moves. I think I put in my personal account, yesterday we did this. I said the aggressives would be 217.5s. I put those in my personal account for the model portfolio. I'm going to do 2 at the more conservative ones. Oh, for God's sake. All right. I would do 2 at 220 today, man. Amazon ain't blinking with everything that's going on. It's also Amazon. It can fade by Friday. In my personal account, I have 217.5s. In the model portfolio, I got to move some stuff around. I do those. SIBO. We haven't talked about SIBO for a while. It's a great looking trade, up 74%. Folks, with World War II going on, man, options trading is just exploding. Okay. Now, obviously, a longer term chart really shows you. We looked originally, it was right around COVID. I think it was this one. Yeah. 175%. I told you COVID, man, right around the COVID bottom, I'm like, buy SIBO. People who did synthetic stock back here, they already got out of it, got into a new one. That's what you do. You leapfrog. Hey, my old synthetic stock is expiring in SIBO. I'm going to close it and put on a new one out in the future. Anyway, SIBO's, look at that. This is the synthetic. That's the look at that picture. That is, I want to do synthetic stock on this trade name. It moves up and to the right. But we're kind of in a little bit of a Luftberry here, just kind of leveling. It looks like 225 has been short-term resistance. I would not do 225 out to Friday. 227.5s. However many contracts you have, I would sell the 227.5s out to Friday. I think I did that in my personal account yesterday. And then in the model portfolio, what else do we have? Oh, JP Morgan. I'm loving the find. I love JP Morgan. I love Jamie Dimon. Good dude. Solid name. Look at this after earnings. Run up into earnings, sold off a little bit, and has not looked back. JP Morgan's got 275 written all over it. So out the Friday, 272.5s would be aggressive. 275's the conservative. Okay. I mean, this makes sense, right? Closer to at the money, folks, is going to be the aggressive ones. You can always look at the at the money straddle to get your idea. $1.85 plus 243. Do the math. Or you do what? You have somebody do the math for you. You go straddle out the Friday, which is June 25 expiration. It's about $4. So the conservative call would always be at the money straddle. So like I just said, the 275s would be conservatives. 275 would be conservative. And then 272.5, obviously closer to at the money, would be the more aggressive short calls. Warning, Will Robinson. Do not ever let your weekly short calls go in the money. Expire in the money. They can go in the money a little bit and you're like, all right, I'm keeping an eye on them. All right, it faded. I'm safe. If or when your short calls go in the money, you run the risk of assignment at any time in an options contract, comma, your risk of assignment is exponential if it's in the money. Okay. Your risk of assignment is stratospheric, or whatever the word would be, if it's expiration day and they're deep in the money. You can be assigned early. Happened to me. Okay. Bruce, I don't. I got out of that a while ago in lieu of whatchamacallit, JP Morgan. I look at the ready room now, no alert there. I don't post alerts in the ready room. I don't post alerts in the ready room, folks, because that's solo Amazon members are in there. That's the poor man. The only alerts, you got to join the hunters. You got to upgrade and join the hunters. It's right there. They just got an app alert, or you're in the lifetime group. Okay, I do not post primary live trade brief alerts in the ready room. If I do an all hands meeting for free or something like that, I'll throw those trades in there. But this is, there are people who are just in accelerated retirement who aren't in primary. So I'm not posting a primary trade in here. So if you want the alert service, folks, you gotta upgrade. You gotta pay for it, right? So that's the way life is. Chad, great question. I had a great call yesterday, and I have a call tomorrow morning. So I can confirm that the FDA reached out to MindMed and other companies in the space that said, what can we do to help? So I told you that last week. It's absolutely confirmed. And I will repeat, I think this is sooner rather than later that we're going to be hearing some good news. That's me. That's my gut. That's my feeling. Starting today or tomorrow. I'm not there, clearly. I'm not at Psychedelic Science. Already told you why. But all those companies are out there. No more specific news other than what I've already heard. Okay, I would absolutely add to MindMed, folks. One more time, we'll end on a high note here. In the past 4 years, I never heard Joe Biden or anybody in the Biden administration say anything positive about psychedelics, ever. You have the FDA commissioner, the headline. I showed you his headline. Psychedelics are a top priority for the Trump administration. I met with the VA secretary. This new Surgeon General nominee said psilocybin saved her life and helped her find love. What? Secretary Collins, the VA secretary, told me he met with RFK. He's like, man, I was in tears. That guy had me on tears. Psychedelics saved his son's life. I'm not going to go through all the anecdotal stuff, folks. I have never been more bullish. Now, Wiz got back from the Benzinga Psychedelic Capital Conference in 2022. Very bullish back then. What happened? What happened in 2022, folks? Say it with me. Bear effing market. By October of 2022, the S&P 500 was down 25%. Anybody hear the media lately talking about the Biden bear market? No, it's only Trump. He's going to kill us all with these trade tariffs. Really? How's that looking, morons? So I was wrong in 2020. I wasn't wrong in 2022. Get bullish on the psychedelics. The market imploded. Any VC or early investor money that was going into psychedelics is like, whoa, let's kind of pull back a little bit from that experimental space. Also at the time, you didn't hear a word from the Biden administration. The last word you heard from the Biden administration about psychedelics was in August when they declined MDMA. I met with the lieutenant colonel at the National Press Club Federal Summit on Psychedelics, the guy at Walter Reed who's doing the active duty study with MDMA. So that was 3 minutes of my commit criteria. I could not be any more bullish on the psychedelic space. I reserve the right to be wrong. Wiz, they were full of shit. The right wing, the left wing are all part of the same deep state, swampy, big pharma body. Did you see what RFK said is proposing? To get rid of pharmaceutical advertising. Do you realize that would be the end of MSNBC, ABC News, all of these? How many times do you want to watch a news broadcast? We'll be right back after this break. Hi, we're Pfizer. We pay this network quadrillions of dollars not to do any bad stories about us. By the way, here's a new drug, and I'm going to take the next 30 seconds to speak really fast and low about how it can kill you. So, long answer, short question, bro. I have nothing else to add other than I've never seen anything like this. The best intel I got was from people who were like, dude, we got an email from the FDA saying, what's the holdup? What? That's exactly right, Rick. Yeah, man. Uh, the number I saw was 35 billion. Can that be possible? It's something with a B, or maybe it's 5 and I added a 3. Let's just say it. No, it's 35. Because I remember in 1 year, Big Pharma spent $35 billion in the United States advertising, folks. Where does Big Pharma make 90% of their medicine? No, I'm sorry, not medicine, drugs. China. If they stopped spending 35 billion on advertising and started making plants in Branson, Missouri to make, I don't know, Adderall. So RFK, man, love him or hate him, I think he's taking it to Big Pharma. You got it, Mike. Well, you guys know me. I don't need to repeat myself, but the universe's ultimate chemist or alchemist put all of this stuff on this planet for us to heal. You go to the Amazon and tell a medicine woman what's wrong with you, and she's going to find everything that'll heal you. I guarantee you. There you go, Celia. 30 billion. Awesome. So, all right, cool. Good stuff. Hey, this was a good, hopefully everybody has let me lead with this. I failed. If the next day when that Tredge was making money and people are all confused, I did a horrible job as your flight instructor. Hopefully I clean that up. Maybe I'll add this to the options weapon school training too. Tredge management. Let me recap real quick. Do not ever get into a trade where you don't know when you're getting out. That's stupid. Trading is a form of combat, folks. I never got up on a mission and went, I wonder how this is going to go. I did all the planning possible. I knew where my exit points were, when I was going to abort, for what reason, why. So if something I didn't think about in the planning process pops up, I'm at least got a pretty damn solid foundation. If you are copying my trades and just firing them, you are failing. You are doing it wrong. I'm trying to teach you to be a critical thinker. You get a violent move in the direction of your Tredge, close it. Not necessarily Tredge, double vertical. Some of you might have put the Tredge on and say, yeah, that was a violent move, but I need to sleep for the next month. That's why you put it on, Wiz. Or you close it and put on a new one. So one more time, I'm going to remind you, folks, don't sit there with your mouth open. Learn what I'm trying to teach you. Oh, okay, that was a violent move to Wiz. I'm going to write that down in my trade journal. S&P gap down 1%. And then look what he did. Did you guys see what I did last week? Closed the Tredge for $1,200, 60%, whatever it was. Shot a bull put spread, and I think that one was like $1,500. It's like $2,700 in a day, man. But learn how to do this. That's exactly right. Absolutely. Mayor, you got it. Question 1, did you fill out your trading form? If yes, let's chat. If not, go back to school. That's kind of the nicer way than I've been answering those, man. Hey, Wiz, should I close this trade? I have no clue. Why did you get into it? And again, I don't mind having my commit criteria shot back at me, but change the word puppy and make it small dog, just so it looks like somebody else's work. And then I'll talk to you. I still talk to the people that go, well, you got into it. And the answer is what? That's not good enough. Go back to school. All right, guys, good stuff. Game 6 tonight. Let's go, Cats. I love my Canadian brothers and sisters, but it's over with, man. The Oilers are going home tonight. Exactly, Mike. Trade smaller contract sizes, folks. Do not trade with money you can't afford to lose, man. I have 2 disclaimers I show at the beginning of every brief. Read those and remind yourself of those, okay? All right, guys, I will email. So for the people who are like, hey, that's not in the ready room. It's not in the ready room. I will send out an email right now with that Iron Condor. But if you want really, really, really timely alerts, email support@topgunoptions.com and we will upgrade you into those services. Okay. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Fights on. Namaste. Go Cats. God bless. I'll see you tomorrow for AR. It'll be good tomorrow in AR because I am having a mind medish call tomorrow at 8, I think. So it'll be before the brief. So maybe I'll have more mind med stuff tomorrow. I don't know. All right, guys. See you. Cheers.